Hi all, you are watching a fragment of the Countdown program from March 23, 2023. Today is Thursday. See the full version on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. The Kremlin towers start to move, trying not to attract attention to themselves, and vice versa, to switch the public to a special white noise. In the Moscow metro, they began to broadcast a strange video about a certain starting point on March 23. They say something will happen after this date, stay tuned. The same billboards appeared in Moscow and other cities. Information terror worked. The deep scientists tensed up and began to wonder, what is planned? From the death of Putin to the start of a nuclear war. Fortunately, the Kremlin's rhetoric contributed to just such expectations. Britain's readiness to supply Ukraine with armor-piercing shells with depleted uranium caused hysteria among propagandists who said that this was another step towards a nuclear conflict. The fact that depleted uranium has nothing to do with nuclear weapons technology is not taken into account. For the cave, the main thing is to increase the degree. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced a record probability of a nuclear war in decades. Today, Russia is de facto in a state of open conflict with the United States, said Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov. He assured that Russia adheres to the postulate of the inadmissibility of a nuclear war and the impossibility of winning it. At the same time, Moscow is not going to seek compromise agreements with Washington, after which it will again begin to comply with the Treaty on Strategic Offensive Arms, since such talk is devoid of political meaning and practical purpose. In this nuclear performance, the carefully dug Medvedev could not remain behind the scenes either. Commenting on the Hague warrant for the arrest of Putin and the words of the Minister of Justice of Germany about the readiness to hand over the Russian leader to the International Criminal Court, Apocalypse Iblisovich performed a nuclear compare. The current head of a nuclear state arrived on the territory of, say, Germany, and was arrested. What is this? Declaration of war on the Russian Federation. And in this case, all our funds will fly to the Bundestag, to the Chancellor's office, and so on. Does he understand that this is a casus belli, that this is a declaration of war, or did he study poorly? Dimon asked, calling the International Criminal Court a kind of legal nonentity that has not done anything significant since its inception. Indeed, if this question did not hurt the kid, they would not have howled in their fence for a whole week. Moreover, even the visit of Comrade Zai did not become an anesthetic. He did not bring weapons, he said that it was time to stop the war, the peace plan was so-so. Putin, of course, demonstrated his readiness to lie under the panda completely, and even tried to sell power of Siberia too, but the Chinese comrades politely declined to support this project. That is, they can talk about it as much as they like, but sign documents, sorry, no. But after shaking hands with the Chinese host, Prime Minister Miss Houston turned pink and perked up, whose political actions crept up. Rumor has it that Comrade Zai's invitation to pay a return visit to Beijing is a kind of label for succession, in case the rat poison by The Hague starts to sting. In principle, as one of the working options, Miss Houston can pass. Personally, he did not start the war, and although he sat in the Security Council, his role was not decisive. For China, such an absolutely dependent figure is more than desirable, but the West will accept it with difficulty and with great reservations. However, if there are no other options, you will have to be content with just that. Whatever one may say, even near Kremlin experts state that the Kremlin was not ready for a warrant for Putin's arrest. They just got lost there. This order divided the camps of the loyal and the disloyal, polarized them. Now being close to the president is not just nice words, but a real step towards getting persecuted by international law enforcement. This warrant will become a real test for the loyalists in the near future, and not everyone will pass it. The end of the quote. That is, many are aware of the toxicity of the leader, and it's time to place bets. High-ranking carcasses rush about. Prosecutor General Krasnov for some reason urgently went to Thailand. Patrushev's plane was seen in Bangkok. Another sign of the movement of elites is the sudden lifting of sanctions by the UK on the Deputy Director of the FSB, Sergei Korolev, the same Colonel General who oversees Navalny and the FBK. Perhaps the Navalny project will be activated as a replacement for the current rat. In any case, several games are played at once. While Putin considers his steps to prolong the war, he still hopes to wind his guts around his fist for a long time, as he used to do in the case of the Donbass. But he will not be able to transfer the active phase of the war into a hybrid one. Ukraine is already at a low start, and the armed forces of Ukraine are finishing the last preparations for the offensive. Vadim Skibitsky, deputy head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, said that Lithuanian military intelligence is talking about 2 years of war with current intensity, adding that if sanctions are strengthened, this period will be much less. And the terrorist Gherkin is already howling like a beluga, "Khan to all of us, comrade rashists, on a cooker and on a frying pan." The end of the quote. Maybe the advent of this KHANA is called for by Moscow special advertisers to follow? By the way, in the press service of the Moscow Department of Media and Advertising, all these reports about the starting point were called fake. So the Harrys can relax until, in fact, the moment of the advent of KHANA. Become our patrons now and look further in this program. Children continue to be mutilated in Russia. In one of the schools in the city of Kursk, underage students were forced to learn and record on video an appeal to European politicians. And Ukrainian children, returned from Russia, begin to talk about the horrors that they had to endure during the criminal deportation. The visit of Xi Jinping gave a new impetus to the sinicization of the cave. It looks like Russia will soon be renamed Chinasia. Maria Pevchik became the new head of FBK. The hamster is indignant. Why is she? Where is the transparency? And no transparency. The curators of a talented special girl know better. Your job is to donate for the release of Mandela Azaura. Trump's rival in the presidential race has dramatically changed his rhetoric. DeSantis called Putin a gas station with a bunch of nuclear weapons, almost quoting the great Republican John McCain. And that's all for today. See the full version on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I hugged everyone. I'll meet you tomorrow on Friday Live. Glory to Ukraine.